Hey guys, this is Goku and today we're going to be talking about the player types in Hold'em. We'll distinguish 4 specific player types and we'll talk about how to recognize them on the poker table. Knowing what kind of a player your opponent is allows you to play better against him. So, let's get right into it.
So how do we distinguish player types? Well, we look at 2 factors: how many hands they play and how they play them. So when a player plays a lot of hands, we will tag him as a loose player, and on the other hand, if he plays a few hands, we will say that he is a tight player. The second factor we analyze is how he plays these hands, whether he plays them aggressively or passively. Playing aggressively means to bet and raise most of the time and seldom just call or check, whilst playing passively means to check and call most of the time and rarely bet or raise. So when we combine these 2 factors, we can distinguish 4 player types, which are loose aggressive, tight aggressive, loose passive, and tight passive. Let's first consider the tight aggressive player type, as this is the type you will become if you follow this course. Tight aggressive, also known as tag, is a player who carefully chooses the cards which he enters the pot with, and when he plays the hand, he almost always plays it aggressively. In the long run, he makes the biggest profit and his swings are the lowest of all the player types. How to play against a tight aggressive player? Well, first of all, you always want to have a position over him. Pre-flop, when he opens the pot from middle or late positions, you seldom want to just call his raise. Most of the time, you want to 3-bet him, which means re-raise. He will fold a lot of his range to a 3-bet, and when he calls or raises, you'll be able to put him on a very accurate range of hands, as he will only do that with the top of his range. On the flop, most of the time he will put a continuation bet if he was the pre-flop aggressor, so a good way to counter that is to often raise him on the flop. You want to play only strong hands against a tag, but if the price is right, it is often profitable to try and hit the flop with small pocket pairs or suited connectors. Suited connectors are 2 cards of the same suit in sequential order, for example 4-5 of hearts or 7-8 of spades. You are looking to hit a strong hand like a set or a straight or a flush, so that you can take all his money when he hits his top pair or has an overpair to the board. Next, let's talk about loose aggressive players, also known as lags. Well, this is a player who will play a lot of hands and he will bet and raise a lot. This is also a player that is the toughest to play against. Since his range is really wide, you should play tight against him. Top pair will often be enough to win the pot, but you should play passively against this type of player. He loves aggression and a lot of the time he just doesn't hit anything, so you want him to keep on trying to push you off the hand. Also, you want to play passively to keep the pot small, unless your hand is really strong. But if you're only holding the top pair and you let the pot get big, you will be facing a very hard decision on the river when he makes a big bet or shoves all in. Lags are also the players who you don't want to often bluff, as it will be almost impossible to get them to fold with just 1 bet, and they will fight hard for every pot. Next, we have a tight passive player, which is really easy to play against. He doesn't play many hands, and when he plays them, he almost always plays passively. So you want to play a pretty wide range against him, and you want to play it aggressively. He will fold to a bet if he doesn't have a decent hand a lot of the time, so you want to often take the initiative and bet. You want to play a wide range because you are looking to hit a good hand on the flop and make him pay you off. And if you don't hit anything good, you want to bet on the flop to try and get him to fold. But if he calls, you should consider giving up on a hand. Also, beware when they raise you, as it's often a sign of a very strong hand. When you hit a big hand against them, you want to bet big on every street to build a large pot. Lastly, we have a loose passive player, which is also very easy to play against. He plays almost any two cards and almost always checks or just calls. You should never bluff this player, because he might call all your bets with just a high card or a third pair. Basically, what you want to do is have a solid hand against them and bet big on every street to allow them to pay you off. These players are called calling stations for a reason. Also, you want to be careful when they raise you, as most of the time it'll mean that they hate their hand. You could also take advantage of their passiveness, and when you hit a weak hand, like a second pair, you could bet small to get some value for it, as they will often call small bets with weaker hands like overcards or draws.
So we've talked about the player types, and now you know how to recognize which type a specific player is. You pay attention to how many hands they play, or how loose or tight they are. And you also pay attention to how they play their hands. Do they play them passively or do they play them aggressively? The simple classification allows you to optimize your play against your opponents. Thank you so much for watching, and congratulations! You are now one step closer to becoming an awesome poker player. If you enjoyed this lesson, please share it with your friends, click the like button and subscribe for more future videos. You should know that it is very important that you put the knowledge you have acquired into practice. This course will teach you all you need to know in order to beat the small stakes games, but you gotta practice. You have to get comfortable playing poker. You have to learn these fundamentals by heart. I cannot stress this enough. You will only get better if you practice. Even 15 minutes a day will do wonders for your game in the long term. So, have fun playing, and I wish you all good luck. See you in the next lesson.